Hello, so my name is André. I was here today with the workshop, one of the workshops of Science Frugale, and I'm a researcher in Tübingen, Germany, where I'm working with the retina, basic research on the retina, but on my spare time I run a small website called Open Neuroscience, where I collect open source projects which are related to neurosciences in order to make it more accessible to everybody and to make it an information hub for people, so that everything is concentrated in one place. Yeah, I think this is Open Neuroscience. And I also work with Trend in Africa, which is an NGO run by volunteers, where we're trying to help development in Africa by helping university level students and researchers to, in a way that they can have more access to tools and do reliable science with less money resources. So, frugal science, that's a good question. I think that, well, first of all, I think it's better if I talk a little bit about what I think science is, and then how I think frugal science fits into that, right? So as we spoke about today in the workshop, science is, I think, one of the most valuable tools we have as humans, right? I think this is the ultimate expression of the human soul, let's say. Some people think it's art, I think it's science. And I think it's too important to be not done everywhere by everybody in a way, right? So at least that people have access to it. So I think frugal science is a way to allow people to achieve like a lot of things, because I think it's through science that we can develop societies and get better life conditions. So if this science is reliable but then cheap and not done with many resources, means we can reach people all over the world, right? Which means that then countries where life quality is not so good has the opportunity to improve. So for me, this is what frugal science is. So today we were building one of the projects I'm developing collaboration, or Trend is developing, which is the flypie. And I don't know if you can properly see it, but this thing which is here, and this is basically a very cheap microscope. And the idea behind it is that we wanted to show that with little resources and taking advantage of open source tools which are already available, you can do a lot of different things. One of them being diagnostics. For instance, we can with probes from human subjects, we can make diagnostics on intestine parasites, which are so for parasites which are common in regions where water is not properly treated. We can do also very top of the line neuroscience experiments with it. So we've done experiments to prove that this is also possible with this device. The other thing we want to use this for is actually to teach people how, with a little bit of electronics and knowledge of open source projects, they can do their own lab equipment. And yeah, I think that's basically everything we've been using it for so far. And because we're using it derived from open source projects, it's also open source and readily available on the internet. So the idea is that then also people are also able to copy the project and build it themselves, or even improve it and then put it back online, so that more people can benefit from it. Yeah, so we were building this today, the flypie, as explained earlier, in a workshop with a lot of students. I think they were in the second year of engineering here in Paris. A little bit to show them that it's not only, to show exactly this philosophy, that you can do a lot with very little resources, and that science should be more open to everybody, because a lot of the times it's the money that stops people from doing science. And this is what we tried to do in the workshop today. So from zero we started with only the parts in the table, and they had to figure out a little bit by themselves what went where, after a very short explanation on how everything worked, and also how to put all the components together and solder everything. So by this, hopefully, they got the impression that this is not very hard, and they can do it by themselves. And yeah, I think this was the basic idea today, right? I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say.